I've got one word for you. You ready for it? Because it's big. Biomechatronics. Now, you're probably thinking, I just made that up, or I just pulled that out from some sci-fi movie or some anime. Whatever you want to think. It's a real word. And after doing days of researching and looking through countless sources, most of which were not helpful at all, today I'm ready to give you a brief explanation as to what biomechatronics is and the advances it has made in prosthesis. So, first, the obvious question is, what is biomechatronics? Biomechatronics doesn't really have a set definition yet. It's still a new thing. But, luckily, taking the word apart, I can kind of tell you exactly what it is without even needing an actual dictionary. Mechatronics is a field of engineering that is, its purpose is to use electrical and mechanical engineering essentially to create robotic systems and integrate them into usually industrial settings. Well, bio is Greek for life. So adding that in there, we essentially have robotic systems designed to be integrated into living systems, such as you, me, anything that has muscle and a brain. So, biomechatronics is an interdisciplinary field of engineering that is it incorporates many other broad-based fields, such as electrical engineering, because you need the electrical circuitry and power systems to make everything run. Mechanical engineering, who design the actual product itself and how it functions. Computer and software engineering, because it has to know what to do. And, of course, life sciences, such as bioengineering, biophysics, because it has to be able to work in our own system, just like, or at least as good as, our own arms and legs. So, now that we've got a definition and kind of a loose grasp of what I'm talking about, I'm going to tell you about the advances it has made in prosthesis. Now, I had to think about what the best way to give a good example of this was. I was thinking, well, I could give a local example, or I could find a video and hopefully show it to you. Luckily, I can do both. I'm going to introduce you to Claudia Mitchell. She's 28 years old, an ex-Marine, and unfortunately lost her left arm in a motorcycle accident. I say that unfortunately, but can't really mean it because she's also now the world's first bionic woman. This video is from the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago. There is no sound. But you can watching this video, we can see her bionic arm called Prototype 1. Let me move the mouse off there. Apology. Because it is made from currently existing technology, nothing too incredibly advanced, though I would argue that it's extremely advanced. Her arm gives her basic motion just like, better actually, than standard prosthetic arms using these dual hooks. Even better though, is that her robotic arm has no external control. Using surgery and electrodes that are built into the arm, it reads the nerve endings that were left over from her accident that would be in her arm, and thus operates purely with her mind, just like your arm and my arm would. Now, Prototype 1 is still a work in progress. Obviously, they're hoping to make the motion more fluid. Luckily, they are in clinical trials right now to hopefully get the Prototype 1 on the market so that people who, primarily soldiers who have lost their limbs due to combat or other related accidents, can have a improved standard of living. Now, another example, though, is the case of Hugh Hare, who is not only a recipient of the benefits of biomechatronics, he is also one of its leading voices and researchers. Hugh Hare was a rock climbing prodigy, doing mountain climbing before probably anybody really should be doing it, age 14. However, at age 17, while climbing a sheer rock face, he and his partner were trapped in the snow and freezing cold. And when they found them 4 days later, gangrene had taken over his legs, and they had to both be amputated below the knee. The doctors told him he would never rock climb again, and Hugh Hare said, "I doubt that." Having gone to vocational high school, he knew how to tinker and build things, and he started working on his own prosthetic leg. And while he was creating it, he realized, taking into account that his main goal was to get back into rock climbing, well, I don't need the heel. I can angle my foot however I need to. He also realized he could change his height to whatever he needed it to be. After building his own legs and getting back into rock climbing again, his fellow rock climbers first started to say, "Oh, you're so courageous." He took it as an insult. And then when he started climbing again with his new legs and doing just as well as he could before he lost his biological legs, people started to say that, well, maybe I should cut my own legs off. And he said, normally, he said people would get offended with being called cheaters. He thought it was the ultimate form of acceptance. He went, got back into college, got a undergraduate degree in physics, then proceeded to go to MIT and get a master's in mechanical engineering and a Harvard PhD in biophysics. He currently works at MIT building a new generation of biomechanical prosthetic legs that actually have much better balance than our own. Now, to conclude, now that you know what biomechatronics is and what it can do for prosthesis, perhaps now you can see the impact it may have on you and your loved ones. Now, I actually had to cut my speech short. I was actually going to go into a whole other field with augmentation, but I couldn't make it mesh very well, and I didn't want this speech to go 30 minutes long. But seeing with Hugh Hare's examples of his biomechatronic legs and Claudia Mitchell's arm, the reality is that soon these biomechanical limbs may soon actually be better than our own stuff. And to quote Hugh Hare himself, he said, "It's really sad to have biological limbs because you are constrained to nature, but we can upgrade."